In today's video, I'm going to show you how to attack every single site on the map Bank. If you guys are interested, I'm uploading every single map on this channel, but if you want to see the long form video, it's on my main channel on Garfield's Dog. Okay, attacking the top floor CEO it does take a lot more communication and team effort than you would think. You have a Hibana on the board. You can repel for E3, which is elevator 3. And what you guys can do is you can have the guy that's elevator. You can have him open up E3 and make sure he doesn't have bomb. And he can cut off all of rotates between janitor to long desk to stock to marble and even some lobby area, repel, and even trump and whatnot. If this is what you're going to be doing, you need to also work for lobby. So while your Hibana is opening up E3, if you need to bring a Twitch or anything else, you guys can start to push lobby. So you would just drone up lobby stairs. You would basically see what the heck is going on. And from here, you would basically just take the staircase. So you would destroy the utility if there's any utility on the wall. Throw a grenade, whatever. And maybe even set up a cam E2, which is right here, because this is elevator 2. You would just work up lobby. You would basically try to get yourself up the staircase. And you're not really going for the hallway here because your Hibana has that angle. You would basically be fighting for this office trump area or front desk, whatever you guys want to call it. And you can have a teammate push up for beepers, which is right here. And you guys are basically slowly just collapsing on the enemies. Now, if you guys are taking this type of push, you need to have somebody or multiple people, maybe even two, pushing for stock. Not only should you have maybe even a body on windows here, if you have one person here cutting off this site, the person that's going stock or top square, they can basically just create phantom pressure over here. So you drone this out, you know, you can cut off this angle, and having even stock window open makes the enemies feel concerned. Depending on their site setup and how much utility they have, you just basically go off of that, guys. Now, if you're not a fan of the lobby elevator take, guys, we were going to go for a top square wall, and this requires more repelling on site window. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a few people over here stock. You guys are basically going to be fighting for stock area. What's pretty typical for this area in stock is feet holes and then a zombie playing behind this stock trading table. If this is the case, obviously you know what I'm going to say, guys. We're going to get vertical. It's not always needed because usually you can just, you know, throw grenades at them, push them back. But the biggest issue here is the feet holes. So I'm going to show you two ways to deal with this. One is the non-vertical way. So what you would do is you would have a top square presence. You would get the person that's in top square to walk up. And at the same time, the person can jump in stock while getting the person that was in stock pushing back. And then you guys have to fight the guy janitor. The main objective here is to kill the guy that's in stock. So you can do that by having somebody top square, have somebody stock window, and you can even get somebody to even try to walk up bottom marble. They can walk in from bottom garage, or they can even drop this skylight. Completely depending on how aggressive or how stupid you are. It might work. Who knows? Now, if you're looking for a safer route and you guys see that this guy has a lot of utility here, here's what you do. Get a pre-place downstairs in an open area. Make sure that beepers is clear. Make sure everything's clear so you're not just going in this raw dog and you're confused when you get shot in your back. And just make vertical on the person. Now, of course, the shotgun is a piece of crap. So, you know, if you're buck or something, you can cut the person off much easier. And then the person that's a janitor, if you're worried about them swinging, you can make vertical on them as well. Just by making that hole, just by making the janitor door hole. You can even make a rotate on the rotate to conference and get a conference long angle and cut off anybody. And doing this, as long as your teammates actually push off of the info and help you fight, you should have a lot of strong counter angles for the enemies. Now, when you guys get stock control and you guys have top square, you also want to have somebody on repel. Now, the only thing about Repel that's super frustrating, guys, is the people that's trying to swing lobby. So, 2 people should be working this area. You should maybe have somebody playing ATMs to watch lobby, or you should just have one of you guys that's repelling watch the angle and then have a pre-play somewhere. Now, you guys are working for top square walls, so you guys can cut off anybody that's A, that's janitor, that's double door. And the great thing about these repels, if you can destroy the castle barricades, if there's any, you can cut off anybody that's in direct sight, which makes it super impossible for the defenders to basically just, you know, retake the map. What they'll have to do is they'll have to go below and C4 or get a flank. So depending on your operator selection, just keep that in mind. But whoever is top square, their main objective would be, of course, you can just open up this soft wall because it is usually soft and just run in and plant. Or what you could do is open up this far right square wall, and from here you would actually just plant on the bookshelf. Now, if you plant on the bookshelf and you're actually able to not get banged, the good thing about this plant is there's multiple angles that you can play. So even though this is bangable, you can literally just come here and you can bang the bookshelf and make it soft, and you can play the diffuse, you can watch the beepers rotate, and it just, there's no way they can long arm this. As well as you have somebody on the rappel, of course. When attacking open area is a really interesting site because it's awkward. So let me explain why. So what you're basically fighting for is top upstairs control, guys. You guys are going to need to take upstairs control so you can get to the point of opening this bottom square wall and opening the hatch. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of rounds where you're not even able to get to this point of opening these walls, and you're just going to be dropping the hatch. So let me explain both alternatives, okay, of what you guys are working for. So at the start of the round, get a pre-place cam upstairs for top square and for upstairs for the rappel in right here on CEO. If you can do this and you can take all this upstairs control super duper duper whooper early and nobody's up here, that's great. But usually you're going to fight somebody that's on stock door. They're usually playing up here, trying to contest. You usually have somebody playing back elevator. Even sometimes they like to float around conference. So if you really want to get stinky, that Habana angle that I was explaining about top floor, you can get on this because typically they don't have enough reinforcements. And you can just open up lines of sight and watch anybody's cross from stock down. Now, when you guys get this area control, you need to bring... I would suggest bringing a gridlock just so you can safely play upstairs or even the Nomad. Any flank watch, doesn't matter. But place one for lobby, place one for marble, place one for... square doesn't really matter because we're going to be working square. But the people that's playing upstairs, they need to make vertical play on this stock floor. Now, there's a mirror usually playing right there. You can cut that off. Basically, you need to open this hatch as well so you can drop whenever needed. And while that person is playing vert, you should be having 1 or 2 people droning out archives area. Now, if somebody is in archives, guys, you need to tell the person that's playing vert to come make vertical on CEO. As you can tell, all this is vertical heavy play. You can literally cut off every single line of sight. It will force the enemies all the way back, and you should get an easy pick from this area. Of course, you can also make lines of sight on vert for janitor. You can open up janitor hatch, and you can cut them off that way as well. Now, you just got to watch for the bottom blue drop, because that is very possible. And if you guys get to this point, open up this wall. Open up square wall. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. From there, you just got to worry about, you know, the far sights and the guy playing behind B chassis, which should be pretty easy, unless it's in a zombie playing Fortnite. Now, something I would suggest is having somebody playing on printer window late always open this up at the start of the round because this is phantom pressure. It's always the possibility that you could be here and that you could be contesting them. But yeah. Now, if you guys aren't able to get that square wall because you guys are just died or there's too much util, make the same vertical that I'm saying. Open this hatch once again. Open everything that I basically just said vertical. It's just now you guys need to work for the E2 elevator side. E2 is elevator 2, and it is right here, guys. Of course, you guys are going to need to worry about anybody playing the teller's office area. They're probably going to have feet holes here. They might have somebody dropping below. Got to try your best to just drone that out and figure out where they're at. But you got to get to the point where you're actually helping the people. Either just watching from the mid plat here, making sure they're not rotating to the door. So when your teammate actually drops the hatch, they can safely just plant like around this area. The thing about open area, guys, is it usually takes the entire round to get to this point of planning. So just keep that in mind, because it will get to the point where, you know, you're getting smokes thrown at you and it's super overwhelming. Okay, attacking archives is probably something you're never going to experience unless you're playing people that are trolling you, but if you're attacking it for some odd reason, there's two prominent parts of the map that you want to get. Open area and top square vertical. Let me explain. So, whoever's hard breach and somebody that's going to like hold his hand, like an entry, first you guys want to open up this closet, which is electrical room, just for phantom pressure. Open up this window for printer, and you would basically just drone this out, see how the defenders are defending it. Basically, usually somebody's going to be playing back open area, so you're going to need, if they are back open, you're going to need a teammate going above and fighting vertical to push the guy out. Maybe even pop the hatch if you need to, but I would try to not pop this hatch because it does allow for late flanks possibly. But yeah. So after you get open area control, try to get into the admin office and try to open up these walls. If you didn't frag off the person, or you did frag off the person open, typically people just reinforce off this last wall. But it depends on if they've reinforced all walls or they left a reinforcement. They reinforce upstairs, because if they reinforce upstairs, they shouldn't have a reinforcement left. But you can open this main wall, and while you guys are opening the main wall, of course, you got to make sure nobody's bottom blue. You can even have a teammate walk up in electrical. And at that same time, what area you guys need to hold, which is very important, like I was saying, is top square. The reason why is because you can basically watch the flank, and this is really the only way that you guys can get flanked besides bottom blue. So after you guys open that wall, you can play the closet. You can have your teammate run in and just plant. It's pretty simple. You just gotta watch the rotate. You gotta watch the C4 from the head holes. You have to watch far sight. It's a very uncomfortable sight. Now, if you guys want it to be super irritating, you guys could just go in CO and make tons of vert. Which, there's a lot of risk with vert on this side of the map, because you can get C4'd, you can get flanked by so many different angles. There's just a lot of moving pieces that need to go right for you. So that's the only thing. Now, I don't think you'll ever have to attack this map. I'm not going to lie. But typically, this is how the two different ways we would basically attack this back in the day. If you really want to go old-fashioned, though, and really play how we used to play, you can fight for lobby. So what we used to do in lobby, we used to get ATM control, and then we would go for the lobby desk wall, which is right here. But the problem with that is the E2, the feet holes. Usually you have somebody playing on that staircase on marble. So typically what we would do is just break the share and just smoke off site and just try to get an off plant. But to get to that point where you're planning, you need to get teller's control, and then you need to get up to, you know, money bag, which is this area. The problem with that is you're also going to probably have to get to loan office and open up loan office walls as well. And doing this, you basically have to cut off anybody that's rotating. And if they're on that staircase, once again, you're pretty much screwed. But with sites like this, like Sense could be good. Just anybody with smokes could be good. You just gotta make sure they're not warden. So attacking downstairs is pretty simple, honestly. Attackers I would suggest bringing is, if you have a good shield player or you're a good shield player, someone with hard breach device, and Twitch is really solid right now because you're basically counteracting or counterplaying basically mirror, Goyo, anything that's going to be set up here. So the first step is really just get control of server. If they're not playing server, then you just saved yourself a whole lot of time. If they're not playing blue or server, just get up to this area and open this wall and open this wall. Now, the main end goal here is to try to plant right here, guys. Of course, it's easier said than done. The issue is that if there's a mirror here, typically there is, or a Chachanka far, or a smoke, or a Goyo canister, you need to slowly burn those. So you need to just plant, get off, plant, get off, plant, and then just keep baiting it out. Voice crack, shut up. Shut up. I know you just heard that voice crack. But before you can do all that, as attackers, you should have another person or another set of teammates like Habana and whoever else. You guys need to take printer control. You need to drone out all this area, make sure it's clear, and then get to the point where you guys are opening the hatch and this hatch. Typically, there's going to be Cades on it, and it's going to be reinforced, of course, so you got to EMP it and then Habana it. And then these angles are very important just for phantom pressure. Even if you rotate later in the round, this is important because you can cut off a lot of the util. So if there's Goyo canisters, you can pop them yourself. If anybody's playing behind A, they're forced to rotate. You can shoot anybody trying to rotate into sight. You have the red angles. Once again, red angles. And then the main thing that's really important is just this hallway hatch. Because what ends up happening if the mirror is too strong and they're overwhelming, typically what somebody's going to have to do is they're going to have to throw themselves down the hatch and try to frag the person off, or even cut off the person that's playing on the garage head holes. Now, if you guys get to the point where, you know, you open the hatches, all that good stuff, and you have man advantage, you can try to see if you can work marble staircase. Have someone slowly walk down, see what's good in the hood, and yeah, maybe just cut off any of the enemies. Really depends on the situation though, and if you guys are lacking man advantage, or if things aren't working well in server, sometimes you need to make a play like that and walk down marble. Typically though, these are the areas that you guys need to attack. I would suggest, if you have like a Twitch player or something, like I was saying, have maybe the Twitch push garage, but before they push garage, get them to work their drones and try to pop the util. The reason why you want Twitch to come late and not like run in garage immediately is because at the start of the round, somebody's going to be playing garage and they'll give it up at a certain point when they realize nobody's attacking here. It's very important that you shoot all the cams that's possible right off the bat. Because if you only shoot garage cam, it's going to be obvious that someone's pushing garage. So let me show you a few tricks here to shoot all the cams. So when you get to this point, you can of course shoot the garage cam. If you rappel up to this E2 area, you can actually bang the... Where is it? There it is. You can bang the E2, which is very useful cam. And if your teammates that are spawning sewer side, let me show you from their perspective how they would be shooting the cams, of course. I'll wait to show you guys. Hold up. So they spawn right in front of sewer. So they're gonna line their crosshair up right here. This is lobby cam. Oh my god, I'm missing it. Am I a disgrace? Oh my god, I'm actually a disgrace. Yo, is this bugged? Oh my... What? Yo, you see me shooting this, right? Oh, hell no. Okay, let's make it easy. I'm shooting this one. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Okay, no. I'm getting packet loss. Hit rejected? Guys, I'm getting hit rejected. Okay. So, for some reason, Siege is hit rejecting me shooting a cam. So, that's weird. Okay, I shot the cam. Once again, I'm all the way back here in sewers. Dude. I shot that cam. Okay, yippee, in lobby. And then, before you drop sewer, you can come all the way up into this corner, generally missing, and shoot the cam right there. That's for top square. Right there, you just cut off almost all of the defenders' cams. Just like that. Without even making it into the building. Stuff like that is going to win you games just because it's minimal stuff. That's like, okay, they shot every cam. These guys are just smart. This is what competitive players do, and this is what really, really good ranked players do.